You saw Jeff's charming smile, maybe even that kid who really hates water. You think you're tough? Think you'd last 5 minutes? Newsflash, you wouldn't. And I'm gonna break down exactly how these creepypasta legends, and a few more you definitely don't want to meet, would turn you into internet ghost stories. Stick around, because the last one I'm gonna talk about, it makes all of the others look like a warm hug from a puppy. A puppy that also wants your soul. You don't want your soul stolen? You gotta hit the like and subscribe button. I don't make the rules. My dog Flapjack does. Alright, first up on our You're So Screwed list is the Rake. Now, if you haven't heard of this charmer, picture this. You're cozy in bed, maybe dreaming about finally winning the lottery, or that your teeth aren't falling out for once. Suddenly, you get that weird feeling. You know the one. Like you left the oven on, or like there's a 7-foot-tall, naked, pale man thing with claws just chilling at the end of your bed. Standard Tuesday night stuff for some, I guess. This isn't your friendly neighborhood cryptid who just wants to borrow a cup of sugar and maybe your soul. The Rake is old school. We're talking accounts from like the 1600s. That's before Wi-Fi, before people used to take showers daily, and probably before they invented comfortable pajamas. So this thing has been perfecting the art of being utterly terrifying for centuries. Now, some of you are probably puffing out your chests like, the Rake? I just like throw a pillow or my phone at it. I'm built different. Oh, are you? Are you built different from the countless people in these stories who ended up as Rake food? Did you get the premium monster repellent upgrade when you were designed? Because last I checked, phones are not standard anti-monster equipment. Here's the deal with the Rake. It doesn't play by your rules. It doesn't knock. It doesn't send a strongly worded email announcing its arrival. It just appears in your room, often while you're asleep, vulnerable, and probably drooling a little if you're like me. And it watches for hours. Sometimes it whispers sweet nothings like, "Hey, nice PJs." Or, you know, more like things that make your blood turn to ice. But I have a baseball bat I keep in my bed. You might say, well, that's cute. Does your baseball bat have experience fighting against something that looks like a starved greyhound that got stretched on a taffy puller and then was given razor blades for fingers? Because the Rake does. It's got claws that'll turn your drywall into confetti and your insides into, well, also confetti. Probably. It's not the type of confetti you want coming out of a piñata, though. That would be kind of messed up if, like, someone's intestines fell out of a piñata. I'm just going to move on. Let's be honest about your reaction here. You're not going to be some action hero here. You're going to be you. The you that screams when a spider is in the bathtub. The you that needs 3 tries to plug in a USB cable correctly. You're going to wake up, see this thing, and your brain is going to go blue screen, and your fierce battle cry will probably be something like, "Ah!" Which, to be fair, is probably a universal language for I'm about to be raked. The creepypasta says it's fast, it's quiet, it gets in, no matter how many fancy locks you bought from that late night infomercial. It's not here for your valuables, it's here for your peace of mind. And then probably your spleen. So your built different attitude? The Rake sees that as an appetizer. A little yum snack before the main course of your utter, unadulterated terror. You're not surviving this. You're becoming a spooky snack for a monster. So yeah, the Rake, 0 chance. You'd be lucky if your ghost was coherent enough to even haunt properly afterwards. You probably just float around bumping into walls, still muttering about throwing your phone at it. Being silently unalived by an ancient bedroom lurker is rough, but what if the killer was younger, louder, and really into knives and bad makeup? So, Jeff the Killer. You've seen the picture, that charming carved-in smile, those wide, welcoming, never blinking eyes. He looks like the after photo in a plastic surgery ad gone wrong. Horribly wrong, that is. Or like that photo of that one uncle that's really creepy at family gatherings. But anyways, he's freaking scary. Now, Jeff's origin story is a bit of a mess, like a teenager's bedroom, but with more bleach and fire. Bullies, a party, some unfortunate chemical cocktails, and boom, he goes from Jeffrey Woods, the kinda quiet kid, to Jeff the Killer. Please don't look at my face or I'll make you go to sleep with a kitchen knife. It's a classic coming of age story, really. If your coming of age involves murdering your entire family and then embarking on a nationwide stabbing spree. We've all been there, right? No? Just Jeff? Okay. Here's where you, Mr. or Mrs. I'm built different, I watch UFC come in. You think he's just a dude. A messed up dude, sure, but he's still just a dude. I could take him. Could you though? Let's really unpack that. First off, this dude has willfully carved his own face into a permanent Halloween mask and burned off his eyelids. That's metal as fuck. That's a level of commitment to a bit that most of us reserve for, like, pretending to enjoy our boss's jokes so we can get a raise at McDonald's. This isn't someone who's gonna be reasoned with. He's not gonna respond to your well-argued debate points about the ethics of nocturnal home invasion. He don't give a shit. He doesn't even know what that word means. But I know karate. karate, you exclaim, probably while accidentally kicking over a lamp. Well, that's great. Does your karate dojo have a specific module for disarming a giggling psychopath who thinks pain is just a suggestion and whose face is already a crime scene? Because Jeff isn't fighting by any rules you've learned. He's not going for points. He's going for your vital organs, probably while humming an off-key nursery rhyme, because why the fuck not? And let's talk about his signature move, his final smash, if you will, sneaking into your house, standing over your bed, and whispering, "Go to sleep." Now, in the normal world, that's just an invitation to dreamland. From Jeff, it's more like a final boarding call for the afterlife, and the in-flight meal is you pissing your pants in bed. Most of you, upon waking up to that face inches from yours, wouldn't be thinking about self-defense. You'd be thinking about how you really should have updated your will, or maybe just worn good pajamas for your grand exit. Your built different body would be built frozen with the kind of fear that makes you forget your own name, shit your pants, and piss him at the same time. He's also got that uncanny valley thing cranked up to 11. That face is designed to make your brain short circuit. It's not just scary, it's fundamentally wrong. It's fundamentally ugly, which is also what my last date called my face when I went out with her. That was kind of rude. It's like seeing a dog walk on its hind legs, wearing a tiny hat, then it pulls out a switchblade. You're not processing the threat logically. You're just trying to understand why the universe hates you specifically to make you deal with it. So your plan to just punch him really, really hard? Well, he's probably been punched. He's been set on fire. He uses knives, they're like an extension of his personality, which, to be fair, they kind of are at this point. You think your one good haymaker fueled by panic and half-digested pizza is going to be the thing that stops him? Bless your heart. You're not surviving Jeff. You're becoming the reason someone else installs extra locks and sleeps at the fire extinguisher. And even then, probably wouldn't help them either. Jeff's not just a killer. He's a really dedicated, full-time home invasion murderer. So a freaky boy with a knife is too much. What if the horror wasn't one guy? Well, that makes me think, what happens when nobody gets any sleep ever? Yeah, we're talking about the Russian sleep experiment. This one sounds like a boring history documentary your grandpa would fall asleep to, but trust me, it's anything but that. The setup is simple. Some very serious, probably very Cold War era Russian scientists get a brilliant idea. You know what people need less of? They probably said while stroking a fluffy white cat, sleep. Sleep is for the weak. Let's make people stay awake forever with this experimental gas. What could possibly go wrong? Well, comrades, famous last words. They take 5 political prisoners, because who else are you going to test experimental no-sleep happy gas on, seal them in a room, and pump in the good stuff. For the first few days, it's all fine and dandy. The prisoners are chatting, probably complaining about the food, the usual, but then things start getting a little freaky. They stop talking to each other. They start whispering to the microphones, probably sharing their deepest fears or some weird thoughts they're having, but in a really creepy way. Then one guy just starts screaming for hours, like he's seen the end of the internet and life itself, and it just can't be comprehended. The others, instead of, helping, decide to redecorate. They tear pages out of books. They use their own leavings, if you get what I mean, as glue and paste them over portholes, because privacy is important, even when you're losing your mind. Now, you, the built different observer, are probably thinking, okay, that's messed up. But if I were a guard there, I'd just go in with a big net and some strong coffee. Would you though? Because when the scientists finally decide to open the chamber after days of silence, what they find isn't just 5 tired guys. Oh no, it's an abstract art installation made of human suffering and a lot of blood. 4 of them are still alive, if you can call it that. They've remodeled themselves, chunks of flesh missing, organs out for a stroll, and they're strong, superhuman strong. They fight off armed soldiers. They're begging to stay in the room with the gas. One of them, as he's bleeding out, apparently whispers, "So nearly free." Free from what? Sleep? Sanity? The crushing weight of the Soviet Union? Who knows? This isn't about fighting a monster you can see. This is about what happens when the human body and mind are pushed beyond any recognizable limit. These aren't zombies in the traditional sense. They're something worse. They're what's left when everything that makes you you is stripped away by chemicals and unending consciousness. They are, as one of them so poetically puts it, the madness that lurks within you all. Now that's charming. So your plan? What's your built different strategy here? Are you gonna reason with them? Excuse me, Mr. Exposed Ribcage, could you please refrain from trying to eat my face? Are you gonna try to out crazy them? Good luck with that. They've had a serious head start. You, my friend, in this scenario, are either becoming another piece of abstract art, or you're the guy who has to write the incident report and then immediately resign and move to a remote cabin where the only gas you encounter is from beans. There's no winning here. There's no outsmarting a biological weapon. You're not surviving the Russian sleep experiment. You're becoming a warning story for why you should always read the fine print on consent forms, especially if they're in Russian and involve experimental gas. So, science gone wrong is a bust, but what if the horror wasn't gas, but just a picture? A really, really bad picture of a dog. Let's talk about SmileDog, or more accurately, Smile.jpg. This isn't your cute puppy meme that your grandma forwards you 7 times a week. Grandma, knock it off. You sent it to me last week. Your dementia is getting to you. Oh no, this is the kind of image that, if it popped up on your screen, your first instinct would be throw your entire computer into the nearest active volcano. Like, shh. And honestly, that might be a good start. Legend goes like this. There's this cursed image file, smile.jpg. Shows a dog-like thing, often a husky, with a horrifyingly wide, human-toothed grin. Like if it just told a really bad joke and is waiting for you to laugh, or else. If you see this image, congratulations. You're now on SmileDog's The Torment list, a very exclusive club, and the membership fee is your sanity. First, you get nightmares. Not the fun kind where you can fly or forget to wear pants to your big presentation. No, these are your full-blown HD terror nightmares starring your new best friend, Smiley. Then you start showing up in your peripheral vision. You're making toast and boom, there's a hint of that awful grin in the toaster's reflection. You're trying to read and then the words start looking a little too toothy. And what does this charming canine entity want? Well, just one little thing. He wants you to spread the word. That's it. Just share the image with someone else. Pass on the nightmare. Be a link in the chain of digital suffering. It's like a chain letter, but instead of bad luck or 7 years of unrequited love, you get a demonic dog haunting your every waking moment and your dreams. Much better, right? Now you, the built different internet warrior, are probably thinking, well, it's just a picture. I'll just delete it. I'll run the antivirus. I'll just turn it off and on again. Well, that's adorable. You think SmileDog cares about your Mickey fee subscription? You think this supernatural entity, this hazardous meme is going to be stopped because you cleared your fucking cookies? He's not a cookie, my friend. He's a full-blown curse that just uses the internet to travel from victim to victim. The story often features poor souls like Mary E., who resisted for months, driven slowly mad by the constant psychological torture. The pressure to share, to just make it stop, becomes overwhelming. And here's the kicker. Even if you do share it, are you really surviving? You've just inflicted this horror on someone else. You've become part of the problem. You're basically an unpaid intern for this fucking dog. Congratulations. Your built different defense mechanism of I just won't look is cute, but these things have a way of finding you. It's the internet. Curiosity killed the cat, and in this case, it'll kill your peace of mind and then probably make you wish you were a cat. You'd see a link, a thumbnail, an attachment from a friend who's already deep in the SmileDog rabbit hole, and bam, game over, or rather, game just beginning. The really, really awful game where everyone gets hurt. So no, you're not surviving SmileDog with your superior intellect or your ad blocker. You're either gonna break and share it, becoming a sad, sad weeping sack of, I don't know, or you're gonna slowly unravel like a cheap sweater in a hurricane. Either way, SmileDog gets what he wants, and you get a lifetime supply of really, really bad dreams. So, cursed JPEG is a no-go, but what if the horror wasn't just one image, but an entire haunted video game cartridge with a very unhappy, very drowned child inside? You probably remember video games from your childhood, right? Good times, right? Saving princesses, collecting coins, maybe occasionally getting frustrated and throwing a controller. Well, meet Ben Drowned. This isn't your average game bug or poorly coded indie title. This is what happens when a copy of Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which is already a pretty creepy game, let's be honest, gets possessed by the digital ghost of a kid named Ben. A kid who, you guessed it, drowned. Spoiler alert, he's not happy about it. The story usually starts with some unsuspecting gamer. Let's call him Jaducible, because that's his name, picking up a sketchy N64 cartridge from a weird old dude at a yard sale. Blank label, just Ben scribbled on it. Red flag number 1, my friend. But gamers, bless their hearts, see a mysterious cartridge and think, ooh, hidden gem, not ooh, gateway to hell. So Jaducible fires it up and things get a little freaky fast. Music plays backwards, text boxes say things that they shouldn't, like sometimes even calling him by his real name. And then there's the Elegy of Emptiness statue, that creepy blank-faced Link statue. Yeah, it starts showing up everywhere, following him, watching him. Now you, the built different gamer, are probably thinking, ha, I just use a Game Shark. I glitch my way out. I know all the speedrun strategies. Well, that's cute. You think Ben, this all-powerful digital ghost who can rewrite game code on the fly and probably knows your browser history, they're coming for you, is going to be fooled by your Konami code muscle memory? Ben is the glitch. Ben is the cheat code. The only thing he's unlocking is new levels of psychological torment for you. Ben doesn't just mess with the game, he messes with you. He gaslights you. He makes you question what's real. The game becomes a personalized torture chamber. Link keeps drowning. Characters whisper cryptic, terrifying things. The world twists into a nightmare version of itself. The worst part, Ben seems to be able to reach outside the game. Judicible's computer starts acting up. Ben starts communicating through Cleverbot, that old AI chat thing. So turning off the console, that's not gonna cut it. Ben's got Wi-Fi apparently, and a grudge. This isn't about skill. This isn't about beating a final boss. This is about an entity that has complete control over its domain and is actively trying to break your mind. Your built different reflexes aren't going to help when the game itself is trying to give you an aneurysm. You can't rage quit your way out of this one. Ben wants you to rage. He feeds on your frustration, your fear. He's probably got a little progress bar somewhere that fills up with every tear that you cry. So no, you're not surviving Ben drowned. You're not going to find some secret item that makes him go away. You're going to end up like Judicible, your terrified wreck posting frantic messages online, hoping someone believes you before the creepy statue guy in the game starts appearing in your actual living room. You'd be lucky to just lose a save file. With Ben, you're more likely to lose your mind, and probably your N64, which to be fair, will probably make you lose your mind too. So a haunted game is a no-go, but what if the scary thing wasn't trapped in a cartridge, but actively sliding into your DMs with a face a mother couldn't even love? So, you remember Momo, that delightful creature with the bulging eyes, the stringy hair, and a smile that could curdle milk from 3 countries away? She looks like a chicken that got into a fight with a Tim Burton movie, and then decided to become a social media influencer. For a while there, Momo was the internet's boogeyman, allegedly sliding into kids' DMs and starting the Momo Challenge. Now, the Momo Challenge itself was mostly a moral panic, a bit like when people thought backwards messages in rock songs would turn you into a devil worshiper. Spoiler, that was mostly just done to make the song sound weird, but the image of Momo, that thing is undeniably creepy. It's got that uncanny valley vibe dialed up so high, the valley is now a canyon, and there are probably bats. The story went that Momo would contact kids on WhatsApp and dare them to do increasingly dangerous things, which ended in bad stuff I can't mention on YouTube. And if you didn't play along, threats against you, your family, probably your dog. It was basically a ghost that cyberbullied you into doing bad stuff. Now you, the built different internet safety expert, are probably scoffing. It's just a picture. It's a hoax. I just block and report. And you'd be mostly right about the hoax part. Good job, detective. But let's imagine for a second that Momo was real, that this entity with this face was actually messaging you, knowing things about you, telling you to do things. Are you telling me you wouldn't be a little freaked out? That face, those eyes, staring at you from your phone screen, a device you probably carry with you everywhere, even to the bathroom. It's like having a tiny personal monster in your pocket that occasionally sends you death threats. Oh, I would just ignore it, you say bravely from the comfort of your no Momo haunted reality. But what if it started sending you pictures of your own house? What if it knew your pet's name? What if it started playing your least favorite song on repeat through your smart speaker? The power of Momo wasn't necessarily in the real tangible threat, but in the idea of it. The fear it generated was very real, especially for kids and parents. It was a perfect storm of a terrifying image, the vulnerability of online communication, and the speed at which misinformation can spread. It was less about surviving a monster and more about surviving a wave of a bunch of parents having collective anxiety. But let's stick with our what if it was real scenario. You, Mr. or Mrs. I have two-factor authentication, are now getting messages from this thing. It's relentless, it's creepy. It's probably not using proper grammar, which is a horror in itself. Your built different strategy of just don't click on the suspicious links is great for avoiding Nigerian prince scams, but it's not going to help when the suspicious link has apparently become sentient and is now demanding that you put your fork in a thing that makes bread all the time. Can't say the obvious word because you know reasons. You're not surviving a real, persistent, psychologically manipulative Momo by being a tech whiz. You're surviving by hopefully having a support system, by understanding that sometimes the scariest things are the ones that prey on our very real fears of the unknown and the uncontrollable. But if Momo was a genuine supernatural entity with that face and those demands, you'd be changing your number, changing your name, probably moving to a remote island with no Wi-Fi. And even then, you'd probably still flinch every single time you saw a bird or a chicken or just anything that has big eyes. Sonic the Hedgehog. Remember him? The little blue blur who taught us all about the importance of speed, collecting rings, and occasionally getting impaled on spikes if you weren't careful? Good times. Wholesome family fun. Well, meet Sonic.exe. He's like Sonic, but if Sonic decided to trade in his chili dogs for your soul and got a really, really bad eye infection. Because look at this man. He needs to see an optometrist. Story usually goes like this. Some poor, unsuspecting soul named Tom gets a mysterious CDR from his friend Kyle. Kyle's note basically says, dude, destroy this. Seriously, don't play it. I'm probably already dead or worse. Solid advice. So what does Tom do? He plays it because of course he does. It's like seeing a big red button that says do not push and your first thought is, but what if this gives me something good? The game starts and it's a little off. Green Hill Zone looks like it went through a bad breakup and then got haunted. Dead animals everywhere, eerie silence, and then you see him, Sonic, just standing there. But it's not our Sonic. This Sonic has those black bleeding eyes and a smile that says I hide under your bed every night. He looks at Tails, the screen goes black, and then hello, do you want to play with me? No, Sonic.exe. No, I do not. From there, we're playing the regular levels, except now they're designed by Satan's intern. You play as Knuckles, you play as Dr. Robotnik, and one by one, Sonic EXE plays with them. And by plays, I mean he brutally murders them in increasingly disturbing ways, complete with distorted screams and taunting messages like, you're too slow, or I am God, which, you know, is a pretty bold claim from a video game character, but he seems pretty committed to the bit. Now you, the built different retro gamer, are probably thinking, it's just one ROM hack. A creepy one, sure, but I've played tougher. I'll just find the pattern. I'll exploit the AI. Oh, you naive person, you. Sonic.exe isn't AI. Sonic.exe is the AI. He is the pattern. And the pattern is you lose and then you probably cry a little. He's not playing by the rules of a fairly designed game. He's playing by the rules of how can I make this person never want to look at a hedgehog again. The real kicker though, the story often ends with Tom, our brave and stupid protagonist, finishing the game, only to turn around and see a bloody Sonic plush doll on his bed, implying, you know, that Sonic.exe isn't just confined to the disc. He's got reach, he's got ambition. He's now in the real world murdering people. So your built different plan to just turn off the console, what if he's already in your computer? What if he's in your Wi-Fi router judging your questionable download history, which is pretty strange last time your parents talked to me about it. You should talk to somebody about that. You're not outsmarting a demonic entity that can rewrite code in reality just because you know how to do a spin dash. You're just giving him a new plaything, and he really likes to play rough. Okay, so your childhood hedgehog turning demonic is a bust, but what if the evil wasn't fast and loud, but tall, silent, and always just there? You know what I was about to say, Slender Man, the internet's favorite tall, dark, and faceless mystery. He's like that one relative who shows up to family gatherings, doesn't say a word, and stands in the corner and just eats potato salad. You all have a family relative like that, right? Maybe it's just me and mine. Oh, Slenderman was actually born on the internet, cooked up in a Photoshop contest. Someone said, hey, let's make creepy pictures. And one guy, Victor Surge, gifted us this dapper, elongated gentleman. The original pics showed him lurking in the background of photos of kids, with captions hinting at abductions and mysterious fires. You know, just your typical lighthearted stuff. Now, what makes Slendy so special? Well, for starters, he's got no face. None. Just a blank white canvas where a personality should be. This is great for him because it means he never has to worry about bad hair days or spinach in his teeth. But it's terrible for you because you have no idea what he's thinking. Is he angry, curious, or maybe he's just really, really bored? Who knows? He's also got a thing for forests and abandoned buildings, which coincidentally are also prime locations for teenagers making bad decisions in horror movies. And he really, really likes kids. Not in a fun, let's go to the park kind of way. More in a you'll never see them again, and there might be some static on your camera footage kind of way. It's a little disturbing. Like, I think we should call the police on this guy. We cannot trust this guy. We gotta check this guy's hard drives. That's all I'm saying. And speaking of static, that's another one of his party tricks. Get too close, or if he's just in a mood, all your electronics go haywire. Cameras fizz out, audio gets distorted. It's like his own personal little EMP. But instead of knocking out power grids, he just ruins your vacation photos and your sanity. This was a big deal in things like Marble Hornets, which was a YouTube series where some film students found out their school project was less art house cinema and more found footage of our impending doom. Now you, the built different outdoorsmen, are probably thinking, I'll just avoid the woods. I'll stick to a well-lit area. I'll carry a really big flashlight. Well, that's adorable. Slenderman isn't just a forest creature. He's an idea. He's a feeling. He's that prickle on the back of your neck when you're alone. And sometimes he's got proxies. What the f is a proxy? Well, they're people he's broken and twisted to do his bidding. So that creepy guy in the hoodie you saw earlier might just be a guy, or he might be Slendy's intern. But I'll just fight him, you declare, probably while shadowboxing in your living room or sitting in your bed watching this on your TV. Well, with what? Your witty remarks? Your extensive knowledge of bird calls? Slenderman doesn't do fisticuffs. He does psychological warfare. He gives you slender sickness, which is paranoia, nosebleeds, nightmares, and coughing fits, which I like to call an average night going out to drink. So no, you're not surviving Slenderman by being brave or strong. He's not a bear you can scare off. He's this enigma wrapped in a cheap suit, the side order of existential dread. Your best bet is to just hope he's not interested in you. And if he is, well, try not to blink. Not that it'll help, because he doesn't have eyes to blink back with anyway. So a faceless kidnapper in a suit is a no-go. But what if the silent watcher was already inside your favorite game, just waiting for you to log on? Herobrine. If you played Minecraft back in the day, you definitely heard the whispers. You saw the forum posts. You probably even squinted at your screen a few times, wondering if that shadowy figure in the distance was just a weirdly shaped tree or something else. Herobrine is like the Bigfoot of Minecraft. If Bigfoot had creepy white eyes and liked to build tiny pointless pyramids. And if you're anything like me, you definitely like to download Herobrine mods and then get your little brothers to play Minecraft, and then they would freak out when they actually saw Herobrine and were scared all night long. Sorry, Mom. Story usually starts innocently enough. Someone's playing in their single player world, minding their own business, probably trying to figure out why their dirt house keeps getting blown up by creepers. Then they see it. Strange stuff. Trees with no leaves. Perfect 2x2 tunnels going nowhere. And then a glimpse of another player. But wait, this is single player. And this player, well, it looks like Steve, the default skin, but his eyes are just white, blank, like someone forgot to draw in the pupils. Or maybe he's seen things that would make your eyeballs nope right out of your head. Naturally, our gamer posts about this on the forums. Hey guys, so this weird white-eyed dude in my game. Anyone else? And then, allegedly, the post gets deleted. They get a private message from a user named Herobrine that just says, "Stop! I need you to stop!" Creepy. Then the big one. Someone supposedly emails Notch, the creator of Minecraft, asking if he had a dead brother. Notch allegedly replies, "I did, but he is no longer with us." Dun dun dun! Spoiler, Notch later said this was all like fake, but hey, don't let facts get in the way of a good ghost story. Or in the way of anything. My favorite thing to do is lie on the internet. Everything I've told you about myself is complete fabrication. Now you, the built different Minecraft veteran, are probably rolling your eyes. Herobrine? Dude, that was a hoax. It was debunked. Mojang even put removed Herobrine in the patch notes every single time as a joke. And you're right. Officially. But let's play pretend for a minute, because this is a YouTube video and we're trying to have fun. And if you're really saying that right now at my YouTube video, you're probably not fun at parties. I'm talking to you, Dave. Go live a little. Let's say Herobrine is real, that there's this silent, white-eyed entity stalking your single-player world. What's your grand strategy, oh fearless block puncher you? Are you gonna fight him? With what? Your meticulously crafted diamond sword? Herobrine isn't a zombie or a skeleton, buddy. He doesn't play by mob rules. In the Legends, he can teleport, build impossible structures, maybe even crash your game or mess with your files. He's not just in the game, he is the game, or at least a really annoying, possibly a malevolent part of its source code. Trying to fight Herobrine would be like trying to punch a software bug into submission. Good luck with that, bud. Well, I'll just ignore him then, you say. Bold move, but can you really ignore the feeling of being watched? Can you ignore the perfectly placed redstone torches leading into a dark cave you know you didn't light? Can you ignore the sudden, unexplainable appearance of a chicken on fire staring directly into your soul? Herobrine is the master of psychological torture. He's not always about jump scares. He's about that slow slow, creeping dread that makes you question if you're alone, even when the game says you are. The beauty of Herobrine and why he terrified so many people is that he tapped into that feeling of the uncanny in a world that was supposed to be familiar and safe. Minecraft is your sandbox. You build, you create, you control. Herobrine represents the loss of that control. The idea that something else is in there with you, something unknown, something watching. So even if he's not real, the fear he generated, that was 100% real. And if he was real, you wouldn't be surviving. You'd be frantically uninstalling your game, probably after setting your computer on fire just to be sure. All right, so a ghost in your Minecraft world is a bit much. But what if the horror wasn't something you saw, but something you heard that messed with your actual brain? Lavender Town. If you played the original Pokemon Red or Green back in the day, you remember this place, where Pokemon go to, well, to die. It's got the Pokemon Tower, which is basically a giant pet cemetery. Cheery stuff. And the music? Oh, that music. It's not exactly gotta catch 'em all levels of upbeat. It's pretty creepy, just listen to it. Now, the creepypasta, Lavender Town Syndrome, takes this already unsettling tune and cranks the horror up to 11. Then it breaks the knob off the dial altogether. The story goes that the original Japanese release of Pokemon Red and Green had certain high-frequency tones in the Lavender Town music that only children could hear. And these tones, they weren't just annoying. They allegedly caused headaches, nausea, irritability, violent outbursts, and in some extreme, tragic, and thankfully fictional cases, drove kids to, game over. Yeah, suddenly that weird feeling you got just listening to it makes a little more sense now, doesn't it? The legend says Nintendo quietly fixed this in later releases, which is why your international copy of Pokemon Blue didn't make you want to punch a wall and then stare into the abyss. But for those early Japanese adopters, it was apparently a real bad time to be a kid with sensitive ears and a Game Boy. Now you, the built different audiophile, are probably thinking, it's just music. I listen to death metal. I went to that one concert where the bass physically rearranged my guts, which is kind of a weird way to describe that, but okay. Can you really handle this though? This isn't about volume or which type of music you listen to. This is about audio fundamentally changing the brains of 7-year-olds. This is sound as a weapon. Imagine being a kid happily trying to catch a ghastly and this music is just drilling into your brain. You can't quite place why it feels so wrong, but it does. You get headaches, you feel sick, you start arguing with your little brother more than usual, which is saying something. Your parents just think you're being a moody kid. They don't know that your favorite video game is secretly trying to give you a very specific, very unpleasant kind of brain massage. I would just turn the volume down. You say, a master of obvious solutions. And sure, that would probably work if you knew. The whole point of the creepypasta is that this was an insidious hidden threat. Kids wouldn't know why they felt bad. They just keep playing because Pokemon was fun and awesome, and Lavender Town was where you got the Poke Flute, and you needed that to wake up Snorlax, who was ironically probably the only one getting a decent sleep in this whole creepypasta. So no, your built different ability to tolerate your roommate's terrible music taste isn't going to save you here. If Lavender Town Syndrome was real and you were a kid in Japan in 1996 with that first batch of cartridges, you wouldn't be surviving. You'd be part of a very unfortunate, very fictional medical statistic. You'd be the reason your parents suddenly got really into board games and banned you from ever playing video games again. And you'd probably hate the color purple and any music played on an 8-bit system, which to be fair, is fair. It's pretty scary. So, which of these creepypastas do you think would get you first? Are you more of a trips over your own feet while running from Jeff the Killer type, or an accidentally summons Ben drowned while trying to install an old printer driver kind of person? Let me know your preferred method of, in the comments below. I read all of them, mostly. Well, sometimes. Not really. You can say whatever you want there. But seriously, comment. It makes the algorithm happy. And a happy algorithm means that my dog Flapjack gets more tuna. He just likes tuna. And don't forget to hit this like button if you enjoy this little thing I did here. Let me know also what type of videos you want me to make in the future. I'm doing a little bit of an overhaul on my channel, and I'd like to know what type of videos you guys want to see from me in the future. Subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you like this video, you want to watch another one just like it, you should click the video on screen now.